I want to bring in someone who's very familiar with the LA court system as well. Jeffrey Steinberger. He's a criminal defense attorney. He was a prosecutor in the LA County DA's office and was also has served 20 years as judge pro tem for LA County. So thank you, Jeffrey, for being with us. Let me ask you, what do you think is the effect on this jury, on this case, of Dr. Cooper's testimony yesterday?
Well, Dr. Cooper's testimony yesterday was basically the icing on the cake. I mean, this case was done, I think, and it's just my opinion, but this case was done when they had last Thursday, Alvarez testified, good witness, down-to-earth guy, honest, strong, unshakable when Chernoff went after him. This case, the nail in the coffin was that day when Alvarez testified that Conrad Murray, instead of calling 911, tried and to get rid of all the propofol that was in the saline bottle and asked Alvarez to help him obstruct justice and take away all the bottles of propofol that were in the house before calling 911. Conrad Murray, at that point in time, was interested only about himself. He didn't even do CPR. He didn't call 911. He only did CPR when he had Alvarez up there. He was interested in watching out for his own criminal consequences, and that's where the trial ended, right there. I think that's the defense is going to have a tough time overcoming that. And the only way they're going to do that is probably at the end on a Hail Mary with Dr. White, who they're going to bring in as an expert at the end of the trial, who's going to testify some way, and I don't know how he's going to do that, that propofol is some way okay to give in a home setting, which every expert that's testified so far has said it's outrageous behavior to be giving that kind of drug, that kind of monster anesthetic in a home setting.
They've said it, but it's not illegal. At the end of the day, technically, it is not illegal for him to be doing so. So with that said, from a defense standpoint, how would you try to counter that?
Well, they're going to have to counter it. It doesn't, from a defense standpoint, they're going to have to counter it. It doesn't have to be illegal, and they can use that it's not illegal or codified or statute, and therefore that it was okay to do that. And it probably, you know, there are a lot of things that are okay to do, but it doesn't mean that they're, you know, they're not statute or codified by any law, but they're just reckless. I mean, they're just totally reckless, and especially when you're talking about medicinal stuff that cause serious bodily harm or death. There's a lot of things in medicine that you could do that don't have a definite restraint on them by statute, but will cause death, and it's reckless behavior by that particular physician. So I don't really know how they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to do it with a hope and a prayer. They're going to need a magician and a miracle. That's what they're going to need to get this case really closed.
Well, today,
we'll see what Dr.
I'm sorry, today both of his at least two of his girlfriends are going to be on the stand. How do you think they're going to play a role into this? How critical are they, or aren't they, to this trial?
Well, the problem with the girlfriends is what are you doing, Murray? What are you on the phone with? You got a patient that's almost in cardiac arrest. He's probably dying, and you're on the phone with your girlfriends. If they come out and they testify that during that timeline when Jackson was in cardiac arrest and he was not doing the appropriate medical saving procedures, but he was rather on the phone with his girlfriends telling them to hide the propofol in his house. He's in, I mean, it's just worse than it was before. I mean, it's just absolutely outrageous, astounding conduct. If that testimony comes out, it's done deal. There's nothing even White could do at the end. He's just going to look like a doctor who has risen to the level of doing a criminal act.
Have you noticed at all Mr. Chernoff's demeanor on the defense side, of course? A lot of times he looks stressed to us. You know, he's rubbing his forehead and he's kind of, you know, and I'm not used to seeing attorneys look stressed in court. I see them look as though, you know, if something is said, that might look like, oh, that's outlandish. But what do you make of his demeanor and how that might affect the jury if they're paying attention to that as well? I mean, this is a
Christy,
pro. This guy's a pro, right?
Chris, that was a wonderful question. You're absolutely right. Chernoff has won 40 of the last 41 cases. He is so frustrated with this case, he has no idea of where to go. I mean, there's nothing he can grab his hands on. There's nothing that he has from his client that could show a clear case of innocence. I mean, every road he goes down, every path he comes up across, every witness he cross-examines is clear that Murray has done something wrong and has done something so wrong that it rises to the level of criminal homicide. Murray, Chernoff is frustrated. He's walking around like he's looking for the miracle answer and he can't find it. He's a good attorney, but he can't find the answer. Some cases just work out like this. You know, given the proposition that he's innocent until proven guilty, this guy during this trial looks like he's really, really guilty, and it's really on the surface, and it's not a tough thing to see, and Chernoff knows that, and he's trying every which way down every line he can to make this a case so that there's some cloud and some reasonable doubt, and nobody's giving him a break. The witnesses aren't giving him a break. The evidence isn't giving him a break. There's absolutely nothing here that's going his way.
But will
and
the
yes,
jury?
He's running around the courtroom.
Will the jury give
sorry?
him a break? Will the jury give him a break? How does the jury absorb that kind of, you know, seeing that kind of frustration so transparently in court? How might that sway them, or not at all?
Well, number one, remember this jury panel, 7 of the jurors on this jury panel are serious Michael Jackson fans. They found this out in voir dire right before the trial. So you know they're serious fans. In murder trials, the first thing you got to know about murder trials is if there's a death and it looks heinous, jury is looking for somebody to blame. This is the perfect guy. There's no way out not to blame him. He's right there. He's open. He's notorious. Witnesses are testifying up and down against what he's done. The jury is looking at the lawyer, and the lawyer, they don't know how competent he is. They haven't seen the other trials that he's seen, and they're saying, this guy doesn't know what to do with it. He has no evidence to present to us. Give us something. Let us hang our hat on something. And if you don't let us hang our hat on something, then we're going to hang it on your client. We're going to convict your client.
Boy,
that's the way this trial is running along.
That was a good one-liner. All right, Jeffrey Steinberger, thank you so much. Appreciate your insight.
Anytime. Thank you for having me, Christy.
Of course.